At Lifehack Coaching, we help women over 35 to balance hormones naturally, boost metabolism, and lose weight sustainably. Hey everyone, welcome to Lifehack Coaching Podcast. And today we're talking with Madhura, an absolute powerhouse who's taken incredible journey of weight loss and health transformation while managing an autoimmune disorder. She's balancing full-time job, full-time studies, and yet she found a way to prioritize her health and feel amazing in process. Madhura, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It's truly inspiring, and I know so many others will relate to your journey.
Well, thank you, Anastasia.
All right, so let's get straight into it. Tell me, what first inspired you to begin your weight loss journey, especially with, added challenges of autoimmune disorder that you have? Did you face any doubts in the beginning? How did you end up here?
What first inspired me was I've managed a chronic condition for a long time, but recently it's been getting more unpredictable, and I really wanted to get to the root cause of it. I felt like doctors sometimes treat the symptoms, but women's health is just so complicated, and I just felt like I didn't know enough about how my food choices, my hormones, insulin sensitivity, how all of those might be impacting my condition. And I just wanted to educate myself and also, manage my condition along the way as well. And, losing weight would be great. And that's what really, really inspired me to, take on this challenge. I just wanted to make lifelong changes to be able to, not just have a quick diet and lose a few kgs in a month, but actually have systemic changes and actually help me manage my condition in the long run.
Yeah. And we've come across a few challenges during this time. I always say there's no cookie cutter plan or anything like that. What works for one person doesn't mean it's going to work for another. And I think we found what's working for you now, which is fantastic. So you've been juggling a full-time job and studies while managing your health, and it sounds like a really intense job to do. So what routines or strategies that help you to stay consistent with your goals?
I've really found that my routines changed over the course of my life. And I think actually working with you, it's helped me find my new routine. I think just having something that's easy to do day in and day out and nothing too extreme, easy workouts in the morning and calm yoga in the evening has been really, really successful for me. And it's something that I could do even when times got busy with exams and work got busy. And, obviously on the chiller days, could do something a little bit more and go for hikes as well and add on to that. But it was nice to have that base routine to fall back to.
Yeah. So how is it different from what you did before? Like, before we started, did you exercise? What kind of exercise did you do? And I just want to share with our listeners, like, what recommendations did I make to you based on your condition and what we're trying to achieve?
I've always loved to exercise. In recent years, I've done a lot of high intensity workouts. So that could look like spin classes and body pump exercises. I do like to go on hikes as well. So working with you, I think I just realized, I could still do a bit of those things, but it wasn't helping my inflammation and it wasn't helping my recovery. And it wasn't also very sustainable either for me. And so we worked around a little bit. So I've kept my walking and my hikes, and that's helped me with my sort of recovery as well.
And mental health too, right?
Mental health and, time with my dog. But also added in a lot more weight training. And, with knowing how busy it's been, I've been really happy with, how you've suggested incorporating home workouts. I never actually used to think you could do home workouts and lose weight. I always used to think, you have to go to the gym and, a couple hours. But it's been so effective to just have the ease of, having weights at home, doing like a 30-minute workout at home has been really, really good. And mixing in, some of the fun stuff as well, like a spin class every now and then again. It doesn't really hurt the progress, but it's just been a lot more sustainable overall.
Yeah, because a lot of women, it's like a old school mindset that you have to train a lot. You have to do lots of cardio to be able to lose weight. And I think I come from that background too, where you're growing up, you think that you have to just spend hours and hours at the gym if you want to lose weight. You have to starve yourself if you want to lose weight. But actually, it's not benefiting our body. And especially as we get older, we need to focus on exercise as a tool for mental health, as something that prevents us from osteoporosis, as something that increases our muscle mass so it can help us with longevity, but not a weight loss tool. Weight loss comes from nutrition. Weight loss comes from nourishing body, dealing with inflammation, dealing with stress, just making sure that our bodies are happy and nourished, and then our body is going to cooperate and weight will come off. Normally when there's a big resistance in weight loss, when you feel like you're doing everything right, it's because our bodies are not cooperating. And if they're not cooperating, something is not right. There might be inflammation, there might be too much stress on the body, there could be many other things, but it just means that your body needs a bit more nourishing and a little bit more attention, like a little bit more love. So in that case, less is more. And that's what we focused here, right? We reduced the amount of cardio you were doing and focused on healing, doing relaxations and walking and nourishing and loving to ensure that your body gets into that state where it goes, okay, I can relax, I can cooperate now, I can release all this inflammation and water retention, and now we can focus on weight loss. And I think that's what worked the best for you, right?
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's just that, exactly like you said, it's that mindset that you get that you need to be in the gym and doing all these high intensity workouts. And it's just what you're accustomed to, I guess, in our society. And I just didn't know that there could be another way, a much easier way, actually, because, you know, despite doing all those high intensity workouts, you don't often feel that good afterwards, whereas it's felt so much easier through this process. And I told you as well, when we were going through this journey, I never thought that it would be possible for me to lose weight while, you know, in the middle of exams and, you know, in the middle of key deliverables at work when, you know, it doesn't feel like you have a lot of extra time.
Yeah.
But actually a lot of it just came from just simple changes in food. You know, in the past, I do a lot of intermittent fasting, but fasting in breakfast as well. And, you know, it works great for me when I was 17, but it's just not then. It hasn't, you know, I wasn't feeling the best doing it recently. And I think it's just been so positive making those changes and seeing that you can still get the benefits despite, you know, changing things up a little bit.
Yeah. You know, I'm not a big fan of skipping breakfast. I believe that if you do want to do fasting, that's absolutely fine, but there has to be a purpose for your fasting, you know, if it's a gut reset or whatever it is. And I found the most beneficial fasting is actually in the evening because it gives more break to digestive system before you go to bed. So you're not going to bed full and you can have better sleep as well. Of course, everyone is different, and people who have sensitive blood sugar levels can get affected by it. Of course, you know, if the blood sugars will drop too much, they can wake up in the middle of the night, all that stuff. But in overall, when it comes to fasting, I prefer personally is to stop dinners quite early. Like for me, it's 4:30, 4 even better. And after that, I just have fluid. I can have tea. If I'm really hungry, which doesn't normally happen at night, but if I'm hungry, I'll have a fruit. I can have a kiwi fruit because it helps with your digestive system. Or I may have an orange because I look at it and go, oh, it's a vitamin C and a fiber. So that's how I look at things. Like if I'm going to have it, how I'm going to benefit from it. You know, instead of grabbing a biscuit or chocolate or whatever, or kids junk food, what can I get that's not only gonna not fill me out, but stop me from feeling hunger, but how am I going to benefit from it as well? Like, what is it going to do for me? Is it going to help me with digestive system? Is it going to give me some vitamins, antioxidants? What is it going to do for my body? So there's always kind of a little bit of purpose in eating because food is fuel and we have to look at it this way. It's something that helps us to heal or get sick, right? So when we put something in our mouth, it has the biggest impact on how we feel, how we perform, how we live, how long we live. Like it literally goes inside our body. So it's important to choose right things that right for your body. And what's right for me doesn't mean it's going to be right for you. And I guess going through this program, we've discovered that certain foods do not necessarily agree that well with you as well, right? So you kind of had to eliminate them. And then when you bring them back, they give you that spike again in water retention. You're like, oh, okay, maybe not for me. So that leading me to a question: what adjustments did you find most helpful for balancing your nutrition with your autoimmune condition?
There have actually been quite a few, and I've been thinking about in the last few days that we've just come off the program, and I've been thinking about things that I've learned along the way, and I just feel like, everything that I've learned, it's so easy for me to incorporate going forwards, because as you mentioned, when I took it out and then when I brought it back in again, I could see the surge and I could see my mood change. I could see my, my weight change, but you could see the impacts of it. So it just wasn't worth the cost of bringing that food back again.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, there were a couple things that I noticed I had an adverse reaction to, and it's not things that I would ever have thought about before. So things like vinegar and, anything marinated. My favorite snack used to be when I was cooking dinner, I'd have like marinated mussels just to get some protein in, and I thought it was nice and healthy. But actually, we found out that was every time I had that, it seemed like my weight jumped a few kgs almost the next day. And pickles, things like that, things that you would think that are actually really healthy because they're fermented and you wouldn't put too much thought into it.
Yeah, fermented foods are super helpful, but it doesn't mean it's beneficial for everyone. Like some people just can't digest or just can't process that food. And the thing is, when you gain weight 2 kilos overnight, it's not fat. It's not fat. You can't gain fat 2 kilos overnight. It's literally just water retention. And water retention happens for a few reasons. Of course, it could be like dehydrated, or you had too much sodium, or there could be some sort of reaction. Your body goes, oh, holy shit, what is this? I don't want that. So yeah, were there any other things?
Yeah, I think just overall leaning towards a more sort of whole foods diet has just been so incredible. And I think I was only able to make that change so quickly, to go from a very mixed diet to predominantly a whole foods diet, because, with your sort of coaching and the accountability that you provided. And it's incredible because, my mood's better, my brain fog's cleared. And, like I mentioned, once you've experienced it in such a short interval, you experience the benefits. You very much are aware and conscious of the decisions to not incorporate those things back into your life. You know how good you feel and, look and everything and can perform actually even in work or study, just in all aspects of your life through those, just dietary changes. So, some of the things that we eliminated, I mean, I still have bread, but, you suggested, sourdough bread is actually really good for you. And, the whole concept of no carbs and, eliminate all carbs. And I loved how insightful you were that, you could actually have pasta, but gluten-free pasta. And, you can have bread, but sourdough bread. And, you can have rice, but, brown rice. And just those sorts of changes, it felt balanced. It didn't feel like I was depriving myself at all, but also felt like, you could sustain this for a long time, and you also just feel really good doing it. It's not like you go on a juice cleanse, go to Thailand for a month of not eating. It's you can just do on a regular basis, and you can just keep this going for the next few years.
I remember in 2011 when you brought up Thailand, it just came back. Memories coming back. Me and my now husband, we went to Thailand. We used to do MMA and kickboxing, and so we went into training camp for Muay Thai kickboxing in Chiang Mai, and so we stayed there for a month. And they literally had to run 12K a day. And apart from losing 6 kilos real quick, my body got so sick at some point, I literally couldn't get out of bed. It was, you had to run 12K, you trained, I don't know, I can't even remember, was it 1 hour, 2 hours a day? I mean, in the morning, and then you go home, have a lunch, watch some TV, have a nap, and then go back to training. And that was a very interesting experience. Great for weight loss. Not sure how great it was for my health, because I can't eat spicy food, and so I literally lived in McDonald's while there. But okay, we were in early 20s, all right? So things were very different. It was a very long time ago. Anyway, another question I had for you. So you had some days where, your symptoms would come back with your condition because of mainly was caused by the stress of the doing exams and huge amount of workload at work as well. How did you manage to stay motivated and keep going? I know there were challenges, but you always kind of came through and carried on.
Honestly, I think a lot of it had to do because there were stages. You've been with me for a while now. So you've been able to, you've seen that sort of journey. I think very early on, the reason that I could keep going and stay on track was because of you, because I felt like, I felt accountable to you.
Yes.
But I think over the next few stages, because, life just keeps going, right? And there's ups and downs. And at the next downturn, it almost felt like I'd started a habit already. And, you also provided more and more tailored advice as things changed, depending on the type of stress or depending on the event, you suggested different things. And I know, at one point we incorporated, let's not exercise because it's actually defeating the purpose, or, let's not reduce our calories because it's actually counterintuitive and your body might hold on to more right now because you're in such a state of fight or flight. And then we incorporated 24-hour fasting to help with the inflammation. And actually, I found that it helped with my mental performance as well. It felt like, I was sharper at the end of the 24-hour fast. So we actually tried a lot of different things together.
Thank you, Madhura, for joining me today on our podcast. And I'm sure your story will be very inspiring for a lot of people. If you have any questions about this podcast or about hormones, weight loss, or just healthier lifestyle, please go to our website at lifehackcoaching.co.nz or feel free to email me directly, Anastasia@lifehackcoaching.co.nz.